thus sometimes he puts himself in the care of a Yashoda Mata for his protection in his so-called helplessness of childhood. That is the transcendental Leela or pastime of the Lord. The basic principle for all transcendental exchanges between the Lord and his devotees is exhibited to enjoy a transcendental bliss for which there is no comparison, even up to the level of Brahmananda. The other verse also assigned text 33, I will recite, and there is no purport for this, I believe. Atha duragatan sorihi Kauravan virahaturan sannivartya drudam snigdhan prayasvana garim priyahi. Translation. Out of profound affection for Lord Krishna, the Pandavas, who were of the Kuru dynasty, accompanied him a considerable distance to see him off. They were overwhelmed with the thought of future separation. The Lord, however, persuaded them to return home, and he proceeded towards Dwarka with his dear companions. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tashmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Paschyata Desatarine. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Sri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for joining and allowing me to recite Srimad Bhagavatam on this Friday morning. Very, very fortunate to have the association. These verses, Prabhupada mentions that Srimad Bhagavatam is none other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the Acharyas, the sages, Sutta Goswami, Sukadeva Goswami confirmed Srimad Bhagavatam is the Lord's literary incarnation. Coming in association, reading from him, is coming in directly contact with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So in presence of the Lord, such a purifying to remember about his transcendental activities. These activities which we just reading took place because the title of the chapter explains it is departure of Lord Krishna from Dwarka. Literally happened 5,000 years back, after Lord Krishna has fulfilled his mission to establish Yudhishthira Maharaj as a king, as an emperor. He enthroned him. That is it. That's the Lord's will, that Yudhishthira Maharaj should rule. Yudhishthira Maharaj being qualified because he was a compassionate, he was Ajata Satru. It shows the leader, the purity of a leader should be the king. Everyone should be citizen. Everyone should be treated equally. Animals, humans, young, old, weak, strong, everyone needs protection. He may have many enemies, but he doesn't have an enemy. That's interesting, right? He may have enemies, but he doesn't have an enemy. Ajata Satru means I may not have any enemies. It doesn't mean that there are no enemies for me, towards me. But that this is the qualification of a great king, pure devotee, the well-wisher of everyone. So he got this position to rule over his subordinates, not to take advantage, but still he was not pacified. he was so feeling guilty. He was feeling so guilty. And that is because of me, all this war happened, but Lord had his own plans. So Krishna was about to leave, but he stayed on the request of Yudhishthira Maharaj a few more months. Now finally, the Lord Krishna decided to leave, separate from the Hastinapur, from association of Pandavas. Well, for the Lord and the devotees, they can never be separated. They can never be separated. The Lord says in the pastimes of Ambarish Maharaj, he says to Durvasa Muni that I always reside in the heart of my devotees. And my devotees reside in my heart. We never get separated. But in this Leela of separation is also a deep devotion to enhance that love of his devotees, to increase. We all know the Lord left externally, he left Vrindavan. And what was his plan? He want to intensify the heart of gopis, his separation. He want to intensify this. So now we can see the Lord, when the time comes, the Lord's separation, everyone in Hastinapur, Purus, families, they're very much morosed. They're very much morosed. Many times devotees cannot take this situation. Prabhupada, many places give example of King Kulasekhara. King Kulasekhara was a great acharya, Alvar. He's one of the Alvars in Sri Sampradaya. I think they have 12 Alvars or something. I forgot 12 Alvars. One of the Alvar is Sri Sampradaya. And he was a king. And he was so deeply associated with Supreme Lord that he was always feeling union and separation. When he used to hear Lord Ramchandra's pastimes, he used to feel personally the presence of Lord Ramchandra. And when the moment of separation comes, in the story, when he was hearing Ramayana was happened long time back, but Kulasekhara was recent. So he used to feel separation from the Lord. This is the symptom of advancement in devotional service, is the union and separation, love in separation. So all these residents of Hastinapur, they were literally morosed when they heard the Lord is going to leave, literally fainting. And in that, if you remember, in that even Dhritarashtra and Gandhari, they were also feeling deep separation. It's amazing the power of devotional service and deep separation. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu teaches us, we, the living entities in this age of Kali, also can advance to that state by simply chanting the holy name of the Lord. By simply chanting the holy name of the Lord. How? When just simply by coming in contact with the holy name. Nama Chintamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Suddha Nitya Mukta Avinatam Nama Naminaha. When we come in a constant association with the holy name of the Lord, the holy name of Krishna is transcendently blissful. It bestows all spiritual benedictions, for it is Krishna himself, the reservoir of all pleasure. Krishna's name is complete, and it is the form of all transcendental mellows. It is not a material name under any condition. And it is no less powerful than Krishna himself. It is no less powerful than Krishna himself. Since Krishna's name is not contaminated by the material qualities, there's no question of its being involved with Maya. Krishna's name is always liberated and spiritual. It is never conditioned by the laws of material nature. This is because the name of Krishna and Krishna himself are identical. That faith and conviction is very much needed to have that understanding that Lord and his holy name are identical and non-different. In fact, it is said that even though they're identical, but the Lord's holy name is more merciful than the Lord himself. There's no difference. Only difference is that the Lord's holy name is more merciful than the Lord himself. This is theory, of course, and it can be applied in practical practice. And simply by practicing this chanting with faith, free from offenses, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that one will progress, come to that state of devotion where everyone experienced his love in union and separation when Lord Krishna was present on this earth. There's one incident of Krishna and Rukmini, and we know that for Krishna, the Supreme Lord, he will just grab. He is not affected, but his devotees, they always depend on the Lord. And Rukmini was so much of dependent on Lord for her protection. Her father and brother, they are getting her married to Sisupal, and Rukmini had never met Krishna that time. She only heard about him, and she gave her heart. And then upon request of Rukmini, Krishna comes and kidnaps. Whole scene happens in the Kshatriya world, and Krishna grabs all these queens. This is one of the pastimes was being remembered by all the gopis, not gopis, the queens and ladies in Hastinapur. They're sitting on the rooftops because it's an etiquette. They don't come in contact with men publicly, just like that. So in Vedic culture, and I'm from Orissa, I have seen this remnants of Vedic culture, how man and human would behave. They would let men handle, and out of shyness, out of respect, they will remain with covered their veils, to cover their head with the veils, and they won't speak. So we can still, this is the remnants of Vedic culture still there. Nowadays things are changing. Anyway, so the queens and all the ladies of Hastinapur, they also wanted to see the Lord. They were missing. They're feeling separation. They're feeling, uneasy because the Lord is leaving. So they all got into the building of the residence, and they started talking about Krishna. Started talking about Krishna, just like during the class, sometimes the speaker stops and the attendants, they start talking about on each other, maybe Krishna consciousness, but they were talking about Krishna and how his activities, how he took all these queens, how he gave shelter to all these queens, and delivering from Bhaumasur. So many 16,000 princesses. So they were glorifying. So one of the incident is Rukmini. So Krishna grabbed Rukmini from the assembly. She was about to get married actually very soon. So there was a big fight happened. And finally, Krishna brought Rukmini to Dwarka. So one day, Krishna explains, Rukmini was fanning to Krishna, and Krishna jokingly speaks to her, Rukmini, such a situation happened to you, how nice it would have been, you to get married with Sisupal. He's such a powerful, strong man, big king. I'm not even a king. And you would have been taken care so nicely. he was teasing to Rukmini, and Rukmini immediately she thought, she didn't think whole thing. She felt a separation. She could never think of separation from Krishna. The moment she heard this, on the thought of separation from Krishna, she fainted there. And these all are truth. She fainted there. So this is the deep affection and love that devotees has for the Lord. And that is possible, that is given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that is given by Srila Prabhupada, by simply chanting the holy name. One will attain that level of perfection. Our movement has the treasure. And how will we, what are the symptoms? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave in 6 Ashtakam. Nayanam galadashrudharaya vadanam gadgada ruddhaya gira pulakai nichitam vapukada tavanama grahane bhavishyati yugaitam nimisena chakshusa prabhrusaitam sunyaitam jagasarvam govinda virahe name. So Lord Chaitanya gave these verses for us, that this holy name promises when chanted properly. Where a time will come, Nayanam Galada Shrudharaya, when we chant the holy name, the tears will come. Tears will flow from our ears. That is same thing has been explained by Narottam Das Thakur. He says, when the tears will come from my eyes, I forgot the verse, and the song which he has sang, goosebumps will come. When the moment will come. Basically, we cannot imitate, it's a lala samaya, it's an aspiration, and devotees can aspire for this. Nadhanam najanam nasundarim kavitam vajagadeshe kamahe. I don't want to aspire. I don't want this. I want this. I don't want this. I want this. So having desire, having aspiration is absolutely perfect in Krishna consciousness. But only thing is we have to change the object, what we are looking for. Only thing we have changed what we are looking for. We should aspire for this. Our acharyas has taught, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has taught, and so many personalities have set example. So that is promising, that's giving in Krishna consciousness that is going to come. We are very fortunate to have it. Now coming back to today's verse, this is also another symptom. If you see, this is the heart of all the devotees, where they're feeling separation from Krishna. But they cannot stop. They cannot stop. The Lord is just decided to live, and he is living externally. And all the arrangements has been done for the Lord. So here in this world, we can see when the kings, not kings, the presidents and ministers, they come, how the reception is done. And when they leave, how their arrangements done for their departure. But the difference is that the heart may not be there. It's only for the sake of doing, currently is being done. But here, with the arrangements that is done for the Lord, Yudhishthira Maharaj is done with out of completely affection for the Lord. We can see it. The Maharaj did this because of the enemy and also out of affection for the Lord. Enemy, why enemy? Just for a king, when you take a superior position, there's always enemies. When you have opulences, there's always enemies. There's always danger. It can be different types. When you have gold, there'll be enemy. When you have more money, there'll be enemy. When Sanatana Goswami was left, when he had money actually, so much of animosity. So when he got freed from the prison, his assistant also carrying some gold coins, 7 or 8 gold coins. He got freed from the prison. He was proceeding to join Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that on the way, he looked for a hotel to stay. That hotel man knew that this person has 8 gold coins. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave him the gold coins. Not Chaitanya, sorry. Sanatana Goswami gave all the gold coins. So he knows that if I don't, these people will kill. But somehow or other, there's 1 gold coin was left. his assistant kept. So we can see as soon as the money was there, the hotel owner wanted to kill him. So money is a danger. And at this time, we can see there are so many target attacks happening. The temples are being attacked. Why? Because they have money. And the rich people are attacked. So either money or you're a big person for the name and fame, or you're king, there will be always danger will be there. Even though Yudhishthira Maharaj was Ajatasattu, he doesn't have any enemy. But there will be people and kings who will be inimical after this war, especially. The situation was not that great. There will be still situations kind of settling down. On the other hand, Krishna, why does Krishna needs any protection? He came to deliver everyone. Still, because Yudhishthira Maharaj's elder brother, and he has that feeling, my younger brother and Supreme Lord, not to give out of etiquette this arrangement of protection, he made it. So many. What did he make? He engaged 4 divisions of defense: horse, elephant, chariot, and army. To accompany Lord Krishna, the enemy of the asuras, demons. So Prabhupada writes, we'll go through a little brief. Natural defensive measures are horses and elephants combined with chariots and men. I'll just share with you all of you. Horses and elephants are trained to move to any part of the hills or forests and plains. And it says that the arrows were so powerful that even this can be compared with the Brahmastra, the modern Brahmastra. Maharaj Yudhishthira knew well that Krishna is everyone's friend and well-wisher. And yet there are asuras who are by nature envious of the Lord. So it seems that still some demons are left over. They may not be very powerful, but they were envious of the Lord. So out of fear of attack from others and out of affection also, he engaged all varieties of defensive forces, bodyguards of the Lord Krishna. If required, Lord Krishna himself was sufficient to defend himself from the attacks of others, and who counted the Lord as their enemy. But still, he accepted all the arrangements made by Maharaj Yudhishthira because he could not disobey the king. This is reciprocation. You will find Vedic culture still will be there. They will feed you. Oh, I'm full. No, please eat it. And sometimes you have to accept because out of affection only. It's not that I like or I don't like. If I need, I don't need. It's a loving expression of serving. Another thing also reminds me of this, a standard how we should serve the Lord. In the olden days also, you see all the Lord Vishnu's temples are worshipped with grand and procession, like a royal paraphernalia they offer. And Rath Yatras also we can see we are doing our best grand, so beautiful, tons of flowers. Sometimes my mind also comes, oh, why should we use all these flowers so much? We can be doing for less flower. We can do cheap prasadam. No, but it is very nice. We can see the Lord, if he is given, he gives more and more and more and more and more. He doesn't need it. He just accepts the devotee's heart. That's amazing things to learn from these things, the etiquette. The Lord plays the part of a subordinate in his transcendental sporting, and thus sometimes he puts himself in the care of Yasoda Mata for his protection. At that time, he becomes helpless. You may be a very powerful man, but in front of your mother's love and love of your dear most one, you just become helpless, you just surrender out of love. So Lord Krishna had allowed Yudhishthira Maharaj, let him do whatever he wants. He's accepted. Even though there's nothing in this three world can attack him, can kill him, but it is an exchange of loving exchanges between devotees. So out of profound affection for Lord Krishna, the Pandavas also accompanied him. Just wanted to stress a little bit more on this. I have seen this culture all the time. When your dearest one, someone visits you, how to take care and how to live, how to give farewell also. You don't say that from the door, okay, bye, and close that door. No, you accompany that person up to some distance, at least up to your driveway, or up to certain distance. Here we can see how Lord Krishna, Pandavas accompanied Lord Krishna considerable distance to see him off. They were overwhelmed with the thought of future separation that we will discuss. So this is a great point to learn, how to serve the Vaishnava. When senior Vaishnavas comes, we don't just say bye and close that door. Well, you accompany them, give them some company, and show your love and affection and respect up to they go to the car. The many things can be meditated and learned from these verses. But with this, I would like to stop. I would request senior Vaishnavas to share on this and correct me also. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Any corrections first? Yeah, Vishnu Prabhu raised hand. Yeah, please. Thank you.
It's not a correction. I'm sorry to disappoint you. But I like your point of that like in Rath Yatra, we could just make cheap flowers, but we do it for the opulently for Krishna, because that benefits us. Just like in this verse, Yudhishthira Maharaj could have just had a couple of bodyguards, why not? It's Krishna as the supreme person. He can take care of himself. No need, okay, we'll put a couple of bodyguards there, but not need to have these 4 different divisions. But no, that's our opportunity to do service. That's a great opportunity, and that's the whole point. By doing the service, it purifies us. So it's true that even in the Rath Yatra planning, there's sometimes elements that try to reduce those things. Why do you have to spend money on flowers? Let's use plastic flowers, things like that. And not only in Philadelphia, but all over the world, I've seen. But it's our opportunity to take a little trouble, do as best as we can to do the service for Krishna. There's a story about the Arya Samaj. I don't know, some of you might be familiar with Arya Samaj. So the founder of Arya Samaj was named Dayanand Saraswati. This is in the 1800s. So his thing was to get rid of all deities, all what he thought were idols. And the experience that triggered that thought was he used to stay in temples late at night. He was kind of like a precocious child. So one time he stayed at the Shiva temple during Shivaratri, and it was the pujaris all left, and they left the laddus on the altar. So in the middle of the night, he saw, there's some mice coming and eating the laddus. So what kind of God is this that can't even keep the mice away from his laddus? Right? So that was his. So he said, forget this worship of the deities. And that's what they do. But we say, how would we say? We say, well, that deity is there for us service, and we're just not doing. Those laddus should be taken away and distributed. Why leave them out for the mice? So our service was less. I had one question also, or their service was less. I had a question also. In this verse, it's very interesting because there's 2 things. On one hand, it's they said, Ajatu Shatra, the Lord, Yudhishthira Maharaj has no enemy. And then in contrast, though, it says Madhudvisha. that Lord Krishna is the enemy of Madhu demon. So it seems like, Yudhishthira Maharaj is a little more transcendental than Lord Krishna. He has no enemy. There's Krishna has Madhu Dvish. Could you explain a little bit about that?
You're putting me in trouble. Okay. So Ajatasattu is referring to Maharaj Yudhishthira. We already clarified that because he is pure devotee, he doesn't have enemy. See, there are two ways, both sides, right? I may not have enemy, but there can be enemies, inimical to, and I have enemy means it's my nature. I think that he's enemy, he's my friend. Those are in the platform of dualities, my friend, my enemy, like that, as Prahlad Maharaj explains, or Krishna also explains in Bhagavad Gita, divine and demonic nature. So that is Yudhishthira Maharaj's position, transcendental position. He doesn't have enemy. That's why his name is Ajatasattu. Doesn't mean that others are not inimical towards him. That is one. And Madhu Dvisaha, of the enemy of Madhu, Krishna, as Prabhupada, what is the enemy of the Asuras? Yeah, this is also exactly enemy of the Asuras. Even though it's called like that, Asuras think Krishna's enemy. That's what it is. Krishna doesn't have an enemy. He's beyond the dualities. And Asuras devotees consider Krishna as a friend and well-wisher, Bhoktaram Yagatapasam, and Asuras consider Krishna as enemy. So they have their perception. That's why, because Asuras consider Krishna as enemy, that's why he's called the enemy of Asuras. But he is not inimical. Oh, you're demon, I'm your bad guy. No, he doesn't say. Because Samam Sarvabhutesu, I'm equal to all living entity. But Asuras consider Krishna as his enemy, and as Hiranyakashipu, this Vishnu is our enemy. Let's go and attack him. This is happening now also. In Vedic society, people, I can see they are quiet and they don't like to fight many in general religious. But now in India also it's happening that they're attacking the Vedic society now also. They consider that these people are enemies. Some of the teachings they teach, this practitioner of this religion are our enemy, and just attack them. So I may not be going on my side to fight, but other person may be coming and to fight. But here doesn't mean that Krishna is Krishna's enemy. It's demons who consider Krishna as their enemy. That's what I was. What do you say?
Well, Krishna, Lord, it says there the enemy of Madhu. It says Sri Krishna, so it sounds like he's an enemy, doesn't it?
No.
But as you quoted nicely from Bhagavad Gita, Samoham sarvabhuteshu na me dvesho stina priya. I'm equal to everybody, and I'm not envious or dear. Nobody's especially dear. But it certainly appears that they're enemies, like when Hiranyakashipu is grabbed by Lord Sringadev and his intestines are ripped out. It seems like he's being Lord Sringadev is treating him as an enemy. Although from that activity, Lord Nrsinga is liberating Hiranyakashipu from so many sinful reactions from his activities. Srila Prabhupada gives the example, sometimes the government, they're equal to all citizens, at least theoretically, but some citizens choose to, be robbers and they're put in jail. So does it mean that the government is against those people? No, it's just they're equal. They would prefer that they did better things, but because that's the way things are set up, there's some reaction to it. For their what's the ultimate benefit? That they realize they got to be rehabilitated from their thievery or the robbery and get better. So that's also for their benefit.
Yes. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
And because the demons wanted Krishna to treat them like this. Actually, he says, I do. Yeah, actually, that's exactly he did. Yeah. So, demons wanted to wanted Krishna to act like this with them. He's just fulfilling the desire of the demons. Okay, ripping off the intestine also looks like Hiranyakashipu's desire. Very interesting. That's why all these transcendental activities, as 4th chapter Bhagavad Gita explains, that Janma karma chame divyam evam yevati tattataha. So it can be known only through the devotional service, can be discussed. Otherwise, people will discuss bias. They think Krishna is biased, Krishna is this, Krishna is that. Now, only through devotional service, we can understand the Krishna's transcendental nature. And so, thank you so much for your comment on this. Thank you. Anyone has more comments or corrections? No? Hope everyone doing okay. Yeah.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you very much for that wonderful class and discussion.
Hare Krishna. So next week we will see all of you in the Lumsbourne Park and also in the Mela. So all of you are welcome to join the Melas that day. Looking forward for everyone. Hare Krishna. Gantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Vancha Kalpatarvyascha Kripa Sindhuvevacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.